welcome to the Writing Corner. My name is LD Valencia, author. Sorry, my cats are over here, so let's retry that. Hey, welcome to the Writing Corner. My name is LD Valencia, author, teacher, podcaster. Today I want to talk a little bit about my stance on what a lot of people consider maybe a hot topic issue, audiobooks. Do they count as reading? So in my humble opinion, as someone who's been teaching for 15 years, and as a big reader and author, as well as a dad to the younger kids, I am on the fence, or I am on the side, I should say. I'm not on the fence. I am on the side of the fence that believes audiobooks count as reading. For a couple of reasons. So let's talk about my reasons why I think audiobooks do count as reading. It's not something different. So the first reason is a lot of studies have shown that from a cognitive standpoint, listening to the book and reading the book are the same. It activates the same parts of the brain. The comprehension side is the same. You're going to remember it just as well. And there are a lot of people that are more auditory than visual, so an audiobook is just going to be more accessible to them, and that's just another way to get people in. So a lot of people have kind of this viewpoint of, well, you're not owning the book, so it doesn't count, or you're not sitting with it and holding it, so it doesn't count, or whatever it is. There's a lot of kind of gatekeeping reasons and maybe greater than thou kind of reasons. Sorry, my cats are playing behind me and they're making all the noise. So that's the first reason I believe. As someone who's been in college studying reading and been in the classroom and saw it happen firsthand, I believe listening to a book is going to do the same thing for somebody as if they had the book in their hands and read it. They're going to remember it just as well, right? That kind of I touched on a little bit in my first reason, but accessibility. As a dad to young toddlers, I don't have the free time to sit down and open up a book and listen to and to consume the book that way as much as I do an audiobook. A lot of times I am doing chores around the house, or I am driving to work or somewhere else, right? So an audiobook allows me to listen to the book and still be able to read stories when I'm otherwise preoccupied, right? I'm sure once my kids are no longer in those toddler years, it'll be easier to pick up a book and sit on the couch and read. But so both my wife and I have seen, if we pick up a book and we sit down to read when my kids are playing, it turns into pandemonium, right? The kids, I don't know what it is about us sitting down and pulling open a book that they start getting into fights. They just can no longer function, and it just turns into chaos. So both of us have a hard time picking up a book and reading as parents to young kids. So accessibility is huge for us. So I don't think I'd be able to read as many books as I do. And I don't read a ton of books because my other career, I guess you could say, as an author is pretty time consuming, right? I don't always have as much time to read. A lot of times if I have, in the morning, I wake up early and I have about an hour before everyone wakes up. So a lot of times I use that time to write. If I go to the gym, I listen to an audiobook a lot of times. So it just provides that accessibility that is huge. So that's the second main reason I think audiobooks are reading. It still counts. Another reason why I'm kind of on the fence of, consume the book that you want, consume it, whether it be Kindle or audiobook or paperback, hardback, whatever. One of the things that I hear people say a lot when you're writing a book is read it out loud. A lot of people say reading it out loud is a great way to check for the prose, to check if it sounds good, to check the fluid motion of the book, how well does it flow. So if that's a reason, if you're writing the book and that's a major reason why, or a major reason to check the book and to make sure it sounds good, if you're reading out loud, then why doesn't that count, right? A lot of times I, as the reading teacher in my classroom, read the books out loud to my kids. I know there are some kids that are not necessarily watching the pages and flipping along with us, but they're still consuming the book because I've seen them still do well on the quiz. They're more auditory learners. They're not as much visual learners. So they're still consuming the story. They're still understanding it and learning it, but they aren't maybe following along on the actual page and reading it themselves, there's a big trend now of like immersive reading, right? Where a person has the audiobook, they have the physical copy, or maybe an ebook copy in front of them, and they're doing both at the same time. And that's probably peak like immersion, and not only immersion but also like comprehension. Like that's gonna make it like be that much stronger in your brain for recall. So like I feel like that's just another reason why it's a good thing. I think audiobooks provide that accessibility for readers. They help it to sound better, so people that are reading it can kind of like connect to it better. So I just think there's a lot of reasons why, in my opinion, audiobooks do count as reading. It's a different format, right? It's a little different, but I would still say my kids that are sitting in my classroom hearing me read the book out loud have quote unquote read the book as well, right? That's just my opinion. So thanks for joining us in the Writing Corner. My name is LD Valencia. If you aren't a follower, maybe stick around and follow and continue this writing and reading journey with us.